Former U.S. national security contractor and CIA contractor Edward Snowden made comments recently about the privacy surrounding Bitcoin. We're going to discuss that in this video, guys. Here's what's coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about these comments and tell you why he thinks there are definitely privacy issues surrounding Bitcoin and the traceability, number two, of Bitcoin, or is it untraceable entirely? And the so-called privacy coins, is that even a thing at this point? What do we think here, guys, when it comes to Edward Snowden making comments on Bitcoin's privacy or lack thereof here? Is this just a headline grab, possibly?
Well, it's going to grab headlines because Edward Snowden is one of the best-known whistleblowers out there, and I think that's why people have paid attention in the past when he's talked about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. I do want to read his own words, and I'm just going to highlight one little quote that we have from the article where he says, the idea of the Bitcoin protocol, the peer-to-peer electronic hash system, is that we can send these payments to anyone permissionlessly, he said. This is true if it's in your wallet, but how do people fill their wallet? They get it through exchanges, and these guys are imposing permissioning steps that are intermediately to your transaction. Now, one of the reasons why this recently has come back into interest for a lot of people is because of the dark side hacks where the Department of Justice was able to recover 64 Bitcoins, so a large sum of the hack that was paid out. Now, according to them, how they were able to recover this was they followed a public ledger to an address and received two payments on May 8th. When Colonial decided to pay, they leverage a private key linked to that Bitcoin address. So, it's not for any of us to be able to say what's going on here, but certainly if they're able to have access to your private key, that is the be-all, end-all. Whether or not that was basically on another exchange that they had that stored, that's not disclosed. You don't know the full details there. So I don't know that necessarily what Snowden was concerned about was the case here with the dark side and able to recover that money there, Sean. And when it comes down to some of those other coins that he talks about, I happen to have Monero up here. You can see, which looks a heck of a lot like Doge. Adaptability is going to be an issue there, but he did talk about those coins. There's some other stories here from the past when it comes to traceability, though, that is not a new thing when it comes to the DOJ recovering some Bitcoin, because there's bigger stories, right, Sean?
I mean, there's some monster stories involved when we talk about Bitcoin. And of course, look, I hold Bitcoin, and I never thought that it was going to be a completely private situation because I know about the blockchain, and I think a lot of us know that as well. Like, I just called up blockchain.com. There's a few of these websites. This is public ledger. Like, I can see right now that this address right here just received 25 Bitcoin at a value of $991,000. Oh, that's a lot. What about this right here? $1.2 million worth of Bitcoin. $800,000 worth of, I mean, these Bitcoins are all here, and this is roughly, 10 million transactions a month and going higher. So you can simply click on one of these ad wallets, and you will be able to see everything behind it, including, hash rates, different statistics here, the fees paid, timing, everything. And the point of all of this is that when we talk about blockchain and you can see all these transactions, look, this should not be new story to anybody. Back in 2014, listen to this number. I had to double check it, okay? The Silk Road, all right, the FBI was able to recover. Are you ready for this? So Neil just talked about, was it 65 Bitcoins recovered?
Like 2.6 million. It was some change, right?
Okay. 30,000 Bitcoins recovered back in 2014. Now, of course, the value of that at that point, nothing where it was now. Each Bitcoin was in the hundreds. And get this, the federal government then auctioned off those Bitcoins. So, you could have got 30,000 Bitcoins the FBI seized from Silk Road. How? IP addresses, and just simply tracing this stuff. If we think here as public people, citizens, that we're able to outsmart the FBI, look, there's going to be a time where you're going to be able to get things by with some of those privacy coins, and we will talk a little bit more about those. But as far as Bitcoin is concerned, right now, virtual asset service providers, that's, we talk about them all the time, including Robinhood, including PayPal, anybody that offers you a wallet or an exchange, they have something called right now, Know Your Customer, KYC. So in order to get a Bitcoin wallet nowadays, and again, there's going to be ways around this. Most of the holders of Bitcoin aren't concerned about privacy. So if you are, there are things called tumblers where you could put Bitcoin into basically a washing machine laundry and tumble Bitcoins, and then they just randomly spit them out. So that's a way to sort of mess around with some of these wallets and addresses. But honestly, these KYC opening up wallets, that goes back to what Neil was just talking about. There are very, very traceable solutions here to Bitcoin. So I don't think using that, as a privacy tool is going to be working anytime moving forward. So again, advanced algorithms set out by the government, the FBI, now able to trace a lot of these Bitcoins, guys. So just be very, very careful. Edward Snowden knows what he's talking about. There's a reason why we know his name. So just be very, very careful with some of these Bitcoins, guys. It's all public record, the blockchain is. So the minute they have your wallet, they can literally go back and see every single transaction that you've made on that wallet. So I mean, I'm not going to say have multiple wallets, but hey, if you're trying to do things undercover, you may want to consider the things that we're talking about right now.
Now, obviously, guys, there's a lot of different technology involved in a lot of different coins. So let's touch a little bit on what people need to be aware of as far as trying to invest here. Is there an area maybe outside of Bitcoin? Is there a different coin that might not have some of these similar problems, if you will, or flaws on the privacy side of things? What do people need to be aware of when it comes to actually putting money into crypto markets?
I think everything Sean just told you is what you need to be aware of. It's not going to dissuade me from holding Bitcoin, but again, this is about Edward Snowden's comments, and he talked about Monero and Zcash, which are fully anonymous. And look, it's earlier in the year, you did have more interest and you had a bit of a spike, and certainly transactions went up on Monero. It had a big price increase. Look, it's trading at less than 1 cent, right? I mean, all things relative, of course, but a lot of that has died down since, and that has coincided with, I guess, an increase and a bounce off that 30,000 level for Bitcoin in particular here. So I'm not going to sit here and say that, okay, well, you got to look at these privacy coins if these are your primary concerns. I think you just have to be aware of everything Sean just mentioned to you, and maybe monitor. Look, if you're interested in Zcash, Monero, read up on them. Edward Snowden believes in both of those two names, and that's why we're discussing it here today. But at the end of the day, it's all about adaptability and really what is actually popular, what are people going to use, and what do people have faith in. And the fact of the matter is, currently, it is still Bitcoin, which is at the front of that. And yes, I know it's mostly traded on these other exchanges where people are going to hold them, not in their private wallets. That's definitely all on vogue. But that's the future. That's what people seem to be comfortable with here, guys. So that's what I would stick to. But if you are interested in those two names, it is Monero and Zcash. I can show you a live chart. Basically nothing happening in terms of volatility. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have Zcash up right here. I mean, and the main problem with a lot of these coins, I mean, you could see Zcash gets as high as 250, this is not the greatest chart, but there it is, 336 back in May 12th of 2021. But, it had a bottom there in 2020 of $25. So it's a big move up and then a big move right back down. So the volatility still remains the same in all of these coins. My main concern, again, with Zcash or Monero or things like that is that the value lies in the fact that they are somewhat private. So if there is a way to sort of debunk their privacy or, like I was saying, the FBI or, come in and they're able to figure out how to track better, then the value of these coins obviously will start to go down as well. So to me, safer, yes. But hey, look, if you're into worrying about privacy right now, it seems like coins and just the popularity of them, because it's on such a rise and because obviously the governments are looking to collect tax and looking to limit criminal behavior, you're always going to be tracked. So look, if it's what you're looking at, I would be investing a little bit in Zcash and Monero and some of these other privacy coins. But as an investment, I still think you got to be in Bitcoin regardless of some of the privacy issues.
The amount of transactions continues to climb. The monetary value in those transactions continues to climb. We're getting back above significant levels once again in Bitcoin. So privacy issues or not, still plenty of interest in not only crypto markets, but Bitcoin specifically. More to come, guys. Here's Valeria.
Hey guys, thank you for this helpful information. Dear viewers, please subscribe to this channel to see more great videos.